But the important thing about branding is a visual exercise primarily, because we usually see, like, that's how we shop for things. We see them first. And so I want you to start thinking about, how can I take the words that I've used to describe myself and create a visual that references that, so that when people say, like, in my exercise with Jason, by the way, I freaking loved the this concept. If someone else were to impersonate me, what would be the qualities that they would need to impersonate me? And that allowed me to take all of the ideas I had and then rise them to the top. And here's what I came up with: enthusiasm, smile, confident, bald, charismatic. And then I said restless. If someone were to take all those things and then say, guess who I am, we'd probably have a better chance at guessing who it was. So the one thing that I struggle with, this is my weakness, this is my Achilles heel that I can't figure out yet. And that is one of my skills that I'd love to incorporate into my brand that I haven't figured out yet is my illustration ability. Because I've been a professional illustrator for years. I'm really, really good at it. And one of the things that's helped me to introduce myself to people that I want to meet is to make a sketch of them and then send them that sketch. They often think that it's weird. I often will get, is this AI? Did AI do this? And I'm like, what are you talking about? AI can't do this. Actually, AI can do that, but that's frustrating. That's a different topic altogether. I haven't been able to figure out how to take that unique thing about me, that creative ability, and integrate it not only into my brand, but also into my presentations, my keynotes and things. Because if it doesn't, then it seems like a red herring. It's a distraction from the brand. And all those things, like the Venn diagram, need to line up to make the visual and that meaning clearer. So with that said, I'm going to jump into a very brief case study with our great Lindsey Van Sickle. So this is the cover, and I'll kind of give you a little bit of background on each of these things based on my perspective. She may think I'm totally off base, but this was my perspective. This was the brand that she introduced to me. It says, this is what I've got going on so far. So she was using red. She said tan. She was using tan, pink, white, and this and a charcoal gray. Now, one thing she's got going for her is she's gorgeous. So she's got this she's beautiful. And each of these colors, they actually mean something. And we talked about this before. What's interesting to me is that red and tan are actually very polar opposites in the emotion field. Red is very energetic, it's aggressive, it's strong, it's powerful. Yet tan is very neutral, it's earthy, it's safe, it's content. So those two things weren't in harmony. And that's one of the reasons I think subliminally she's going, I like these colors, but they're not working for me. And the reason they weren't working for her is that they weren't in line with her. Now, each of us have, like in Jason's exercise, when you create 100 words to describe yourself, you're going to be all over the board too. But like Jason's exercise, you have to eliminate ones that you won't focus on. They're still a part of who you are, and you still bring them to your presentations, you still bring them with you wherever you go because it's who you are, but you need to focus on a few things to help create a distinct image or representation of your brand. So this is where she started. And one of the things I was a little bit frustrated with is the circle logo. It felt like a W to me, and that was a little distracting. And so I said, well, we can make some changes. The first step was to find what her brand spark was. And I realized right away her passion for shredding stress and the exercise that she uses that we all went through to shred stress. The first thing that I try to do now, once I get that brand spark, is to figure out, how can I visually understand that? What does stress shredding look like? And when she described her process, I said, well, what if we incorporated design elements of torn paper so that when you saw anything in your brand had this torn paper motif, and you said, I'm the stress shredder, people go, totally, got it. Makes complete sense to me. Now, could she have done it without it and just have like her logo up here? We have the stress shredder is actually just a torn piece of paper. It's colored fuchsia. Well, we could have made that a box. I know it'd been very contemporary and clean and nice, and that's kind of who she is, but that would have been one less ingredient that would have helped shorten the gap between what I know about her and what she wants me to know about her. And that she is the stress shredder. And I love the position that she's taken on that to say, this is what I do. This is what I'm known for. In the future, she can add and expand topics and expertise. But at first, she'll be known as the stress shredder. Hopefully 5 years from now, 10 years from now, she could be known as something else that used to be the stress shredder, because now she's making 10 million a year. That'd be great. That's a story in the future. That is the brand spark, and that brand spark was the catalyst to help me think visually about how to represent that difference. The brand descriptors that we discussed was she is vibrant, bold, feminine, confident, liberating, joyful, and sophisticated. Okay, so right now you've already seen that we've incorporated fuchsia into her palette. Now that is the result of this. The target audience, at first, it was very broad. And I said, not who do you want to speak to? Who are you speaking to right now? Who's most likely to care about your process, your brand spark, and who's most willing of that group to pay for whatever it is that you do? And I want you to think about that for yourselves for a second. Like, yes, I have the ability to have this expertise, and I have this really cool concept. Of all the people in the world, who is most likely to appreciate that? And who's most likely in that group to pay for that? Unless your goal is to do this for free and just have fun doing it, that's no problem doing that. And that's a great way to start a business, by the way. Just to like do it a ton and you love it and you do it for free. And then people go, man, I want to have you come in. I want to have you come in. I want to have you come in. And then you go, look, I can't do it all. I'll have to start charging money. Okay. So anyway, so we focused her customers down to dental office managers because she has a lot of experience with that. And I love that because you can find dental associations. It's easy to find a list or collect a list of people that she can target now. Now, after she goes through that list and then corporate employees experiencing burnout. All right, that's a bigger group. So corporations, how do we find people that are experiencing burnout? Where do they gather? Because think about this, you're going fishing, you need to find a body of water where your fish are going to be swimming. Where are those types of people gathering? If they're spread all over the place, then it's going to be a really, really hard time catching those fish. If you're too broad in your description, it means you're going to spend a ton of time fishing and you're going to be showing your message to a lot of people who are not what you're fishing for. In the advertising world, that's wasted marketing expense. Unless you guys have lots and lots of money and lots of time, I would recommend not doing that. So her logo, she already had a great logo. All I did was add the little piece of paper underneath it and then the title, the stress shredder. Because I felt that her, like a handwritten signature, felt feminine and bold and confident. So I thought it was great. I just made the little colors for her. So these are the colors we chose, and those are the fonts. Check this out. This is the definition of fuchsia. Vibrant, bold, feminine. Does that sound like what we just discussed with Lindsey? Yes. We weren't going around choosing her favorite colors. We were saying what colors represent who she wants to be represented as, or what represents her. I love the emotions, excitement, confidence, joy. I'm like, we couldn't have scripted this. I didn't create this. I found this on the internet. Anyway, so that means we're on the right track. We created a background for her. She actually shredded paper, took a picture of it, sent it to me, and then I colored it and reduced some of the contrast. These are some additional elements of her brand that we could use. You can see me already using it in the upper left-hand corner. So imagine a one-page sheet or a bio that has some of these little elements in there. Do you think someone who is looking at 2 or 3 different one sheets or speaker profiles and sees 2 or 3 of them in a row, one has to stand, it has to stand out. And the second thing is it has to be memorable. And then it has to communicate clearly what it is this person is expert at. Okay, if she uses these ingredients on a one sheet, it's going to be bold, it's going to stand out, and it's going to represent what she does. If someone says, "What's the deal with the torn paper?" If they ask that, it's like, "Did you read the logo?" She is the stress shredder. And then the little light bulb goes on and then the dots connect. What you wear is packaging for your product. So for her, try to wear fuchsia or try to wear colors that actually go well with fuchsia. She didn't have a picture of her wearing fuchsia. This is the picture she gave me. And so using the magic of Photoshop, I changed her color and I gave her a white one. Ta-da! So now she's actually given me like 5 or 6 other photos and said, "Will you change the colors on these too?" I'm like, yeah. One of the big words that she uses is shred. And I thought, well, what if we actually create a shred image that she uses all the time? Shred your stress, shred your whatever, shred your expectations, shred your blah, 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 blah. And now she can use this as part of like a social media post. This becomes a tool or an ingredient in her brand that she can use all the time. This is kind of a composition. This is a cookie using her ingredients. This is just a social media post. Imagine if she said, "Shred who you think you need to be." Great. Well, she's got her logo, she's got a picture of herself, she's got the shred, she's got the background. Now she can just use those ingredients and change the phrasing that she wants. And if she does this consistently, she also has the fuchsia background and she has a white shred. So she can mix it up a little bit, right? So that was her case. And I'm going to put her on the spot real quick. And I want to ask Lindsey, how did you feel about the process? And just take a minute or two. How did you feel about the process of going through this? And then how do you feel about having the tools available now?
Oh my gosh, it's night and day. I didn't know you were going to say all this. So thank you. This is so helpful for me and awkward and helpful. I just felt like I knew what I wanted, but it was so hard to put into words and it felt a little lost with everything. And then Ernie it was like he took who I already was and was able to grab it and help me take out everything I was saying and make it so clear. And so I started to feel so relieved, like, oh my gosh, everything's falling away. That's not as much me and that I've been trying to pull in. And it feels so simple now. It's like, I know what to wear. I know what to say. And it totally represents me so much more than using everything I was. And I've been showing it to so many people. It makes me feel excited and authentic. And it's like, it feels like a piece of me because everybody's going to want to use you, Ernie. You're too good. So I'm like, I don't know. But we went back and forth. He got it right. And it wasn't a short process. It was just different steps. And by the time we got it, it just like is lighting me up. So it's just the biggest.
It is a process. It is a process. It's not something like I got told you guys, I still wish I had something better about my brand. Like I've got my Earn Burn logo over here, but I wish I had some artsy stuff, like drawing stuff in there.